Hey everybody, Will Fix here. Got another video for you today. Today I want to show you a clip with Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz talking about RLUSD. They've only ever been on stage together twice, so it's kind of like a special occasion. So let's go ahead and check that clip out. First, we're going to have an ad about the Decent Wallet. Please endure 1 minute for me. If you don't have a cold storage wallet, I suggest the Decent Wallet. They're unmatched in security. They've perfected the fingerprint technology to secure your assets to the Decent with the world's first biometrically secured cryptocurrency wallet. So what does that mean? That just means you can open up the application with your thumbprint instead of punching in your password. But if you lose your thumb, you can still punch in your password. So what else do they have? It also gives you the ability that you can download this application that syncs with the device. And then you have a very large screen that you can see all of your assets, all of your balances. It gives you also several abilities in there to exchange, swap, and purchase other cryptocurrencies. You'll find this a very valuable tool, and you'll enjoy this wallet. Use the link that's popping up in the top right of your screen now and purchase one, or the link that's in the description. Thank you.
I think having high quality stablecoins on the XRP ledger is just, I mean, we know from other platforms that when they have high quality stablecoins on there, total value locked increases, transaction flow increases, liquidity increases. It's just a key enabling technology. And it's just a great example of that thing where, like, the stablecoin issuers are some of the most regulated entities on the planet. If you look at Circle, if you look at what Ripple, the hoops Ripple's having to jump through to launch RLUSD, probably nobody in this room will ever be able to do business with Ripple directly to get RLUSD. You'll get it through exchanges because we have to go through all of these complex rules for who we can do business with. And what's interesting about that, though, is that if you look at Circle USD, which is the same thing, many of you probably have USDC, but you didn't get it from Circle. You got it from an exchange, or you got it on a decentralized exchange, or somehow. What's interesting is that you will never do business with Circle. You will never be a direct Circle customer. You will never have an account at Circle. And yet, Circle's incredibly regulated product enables huge DeFi ecosystems that are completely anonymous. I mean, there could be terrorists in them. Probably, we hope not. There could be, but they don't do business with Circle. And I think you'll see that same thing. We have real DeFi ecosystems that are enabled. Real world asset tokenization is going to be the same way. The entities that are going to issue, let's say, U.S. Treasuries as tokenized, you're going to have to onboard with them and go through, know your customer and anti-money laundering. But if you put that in a pool on a DeFi system and you re-tokenize it or use it as collateral for a loan, you're going to have, this is what we mean by institutional DeFi, these institutional regulated products that on decentralized layer ones enable these DeFi use cases that are, pseudonymous and less regulated.
Well, so I think that also brings up, one of the things I don't think you could have predicted, and certainly when I joined Ripple in 2015, I couldn't have predicted, is just the growth of real world assets on chain.
I wanted to jump in here and add in how Brad Garlinghouse just recently had said he believes $5 trillion is coming into the cryptocurrency market, up from the $2 trillion that's in it now, before the end of this year. That's pretty fantastic. Okay, let's continue.
On chain, and obviously a stablecoin is an example of that, but we're seeing a bunch of other examples around that. And so I think one of the things that has surprised me the most in the last few years is seeing Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, publicly, this is one of the largest asset managers on the planet, publicly lean into his belief around tokenization of real world assets as a profound opportunity. And as some of you guys know, and I think certainly David and I spent time talking about, we've had a bunch of announcements on this front. Open Eden most recently doing the tokenization of U.S. Treasuries. I think Ripple may or may not have yet publicly announced we're actually going to allocate and buy about $10 million worth of Open Eden U.S. Treasuries, which will be kind of the on-chain version, if you will. But also, one of the things we announced at our last Apex, our developer conference, was a relationship with Archax, and I think he's on stage later today. Is that right? Do you know that?
No, I'm not sure.
All right. I think I'm supposed to give a plug around that. But I'm curious, I mean, any other surprises from you on real world assets, either why it's taken long or why it's happening quickly? What's your thoughts?
I think the biggest surprise for me is how quickly the major players seem to feel that this would be inevitable. They went from like, crypto's all a bunch of scams and it's never going to threaten TradFi, to starting to see that like,
lean in.
Yeah, we see polls where like these institutional players believe that this is definitely going to happen. And the interesting thing about that is that means that they need to establish defensible positions. And I think that kind of segues interestingly into our play in custody with the acquisition of Medico, to put ourselves in a position to, people who issue real world assets, they're not going to all want to build their own platforms and management and all that.
Well, I think that's super important. When you think about where Ripple's strategy is, how do we continue to help propel and support the XRP infrastructure? Custody is, in my opinion, something super important, not just for the XRPL, but for the industry overall. And if you believe that real world assets are going to be supported at scale, you need better and more robust and more flexible custody solutions, frankly, also at lower cost.
Yeah.
A lot of the players in the custody business, in my opinion, in the ecosystem today, some of the leading custody players are pretty expensive.
And they don't have a lot of competition.
They don't have a lot of competition. And so I think there's an opportunity, and again, one of the reasons why Ripple custody, and we've actually seen great traction both with the biggest of the big. I think we publicly announced HSBC is a customer there, as well as some other kind of tier one banks. I would love to hear your thoughts, shifting gears a little bit. One of the things we announced not too long ago was this Japan-Korea XRPL fund, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, this region has always been, for as long as I can remember, one of the major areas where there's been development, where there's been, an active community. And we decided that we wanted to have like a separate fund that was just to ensure that this area got the focus that it deserved. And there's tremendous opportunities with direct grants. There's opportunities for partnerships, support, technical support from us. And, there's a number of different ways that you can build. You can build on the EVM sidechain. It's difficult to find people with XRP ledger expertise. It's difficult to find people who understand our ecosystem specifically. So the EVM sidechain will let people build very quickly using tools that they're familiar with without having to sort of go through that steeper learning curve. But if you're new to the space and you don't have EVM expertise, the XRP ledger is a great platform to build on. It's not particularly complicated. It's different. So if you have to learn something, you can certainly build on the XRP ledger and take advantage of the opportunities that the fund's going to provide. And then, of course, if you really are interested, the XRP ledger doesn't have programmability at layer one yet. It's just a proposal, and it always needs new features. We're not exactly sure how we're going to support some of these more sophisticated DeFi features. Loans is, fairly new. And so there's plenty of room to contribute code and ideas. We would love to see more community participation in the evolution of the XRP ledger itself. So all of those opportunities are available.
I'll actually highlight one thing David just said that I believe we need to, as a community, continue to support and find ways to support is around the yield-bearing solutions on XRPL, which I think we've seen people toy around with. We certainly want to support those things. I think that will be a natural evolution.
Hey, I hope you liked this content. I enjoyed it myself. Thought I would share it with you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video.